friends, it's Coach T, and we're back for yet another episode of Maxing You, and I'm so excited to be here today. And this is kind of a big deal because we're going to start having guests coming on in the coming episodes. And so today I'm going to be riffing about all the things that we talk about with Maxing You. We're going to be talking about self-care. We'll be talking about relationships. We'll be talking about our relationship with food, and then also our relationship with fitness. So we're going to get into a little bit of a lot of things, and excited to dive right in. And let's get started, right? So one of the things that I'm really excited to start talking about is sort of dating one's self, right? So for 2022, what's super sexy to me is this idea of dating yourself. So whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, figuring out how you can up-level yourself, take care of yourself in even better ways than usual. And so I'm going to talk about some of the hacks and things that I'm currently doing and that clients of mine are doing and that I'm finding are creating even better spice in our own lives and in our relationships by just focusing inward for just a friggin' second, right? And so often we're thinking about what we need to do for work, what we need to do for our external relationships, and very little is done for us. And, you know, a lot of people say that that is something that happens with women a lot, but I'll tell you, it happens with everybody. I see it happen with men, with women, just people who are not pouring into themselves enough because we are the last priority on the list. And hell no to that. Let's say no more of that in this year. Let's start weaseling in ourselves as a priority. And so I often think, if you were in a dating relationship, what would you do? Well, you would make sure that you're being attentive to the other person. If you want to keep them, right? You would make sure that, you're taking care of their needs, that you're getting them the things that make their life easier, that all of this stuff is happening because you want to look like a good partner. So let's kind of reverse engineer that and mirror it back to ourselves. So what would it look like if we were dating ourselves? So something that's kind of fun right now for me is kind of scheduling a personal date night or couple of hours with myself. And so, for instance, my team will have zero idea if I've got an appointment or not, because I'll schedule something on the calendar, and that might even just be my alone and private time where there are no things happening, there are no calls scheduled, there's no kids running around, there's no spouse needing something, there's nothing. It's just my time, which has been really important. So scheduling that is important, right? Like you would schedule anything else, your haircut, your appointment of any kind, you would schedule it. So prioritize yourself and schedule something on the calendar. Now, once you set aside this time, you'll find that setting aside the time is the first big deal, right? Because usually we will say, oh, we don't have time for that. So schedule your time, make it regular on your calendar. So even if it's every other week or once a week, do that. You're going to prioritize yourself, put yourself first, and do something that you want to do. That might be binge watching a Netflix drama. That might be listening to some music. Hell, that might be freaking sleeping. And for me right now, that is catching up on some much needed sleep that kind of rejuvenates me, makes me feel good, puts me in a better mood. That might be going shopping or doing something that you like doing. It might even be time that you decide to dedicate to just, getting out of the house and being in a space where you don't need to be doing anything. Maybe you're just wandering and you get to do so peacefully in your own space without having to rush around. Why? Because it's all scheduled. So that's really helpful. And what I think is really nice is to sort of get excited about that time that's coming up. Have a plan for what you want to do in that time. Maybe your plan is to have no plan at all. Maybe you want to just get in the bath and just be, So that's really exciting. So as part of this sort of dating oneself, I always think about, when I was dating, it would be important that if the partner needed something, right, that I would go get it. If I was at the store and I saw it, I'd get it and I'd bring it back, right? Well, doing that for yourself is just as important. So turning around to yourself and saying, hey, do I need something? Do I want to gift myself something? And when I say gift yourself, it doesn't have to be a big purchase. It might be something that's freaking $5, that you know that you need, that would help you, that would make you feel better, and just doing it. So for me right now, I just experienced that. I was at Target a couple of days ago, and I saw that they had this new, Ulta section, and I know the ladies watching will understand this. They had this new Ulta section that was in the middle of Target, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. And I picked up just, a $15 product that I've been needing to pick up right? Wasn't about the money. It was just that I had no time to drive to another store and go get it. And they had it. I got it for myself, right? That might be, getting, the shaving cream that you think you want or need, the beard oil, the whatever. So there's something for everybody. So just saying, start prioritizing yourself and treat yourself like you would want to be treated if someone was dating you. Because what we can't control is how other people treat us. We can't control if we're going to get on an app this week and find the person. No idea. But what we can control is, even if we don't find that freaking person, we have treated ourselves in the way that we want to be treated. Bingo, bango. That is all on that topic. Now, let's start talking about in relationships. So those of you who are actually in a relationship right now, like, what is the up level that Coach T has for this? So what's the up level? Right now, one of the things that I'm practicing and that I'm finding is kind of fun is not being afraid to lose an argument or a disagreement, right? So, when we're in a relationship, there are two freaking different people who are coming from different perspectives, who've had different life stories. They come to the table and they're trying to make it all work and create this mutual life, if you will. And, a lot of times based on our upbringings and our own taste and perspectives, they sometimes clash with the partner. And very often, a lot of people have experienced this in some way or another. There are disagreements that come up during the week. And what's been really kind of a fun game for me is to see, how often I'm not afraid to lose an argument, because it's not about the argument. It is not about whatever we could be potentially arguing about. It's about, maintaining positive rapport in the relationship. It's about kind of self-control, not needing to always be right and wanting more than being right, the peace and the harmony. Now, let me give you the disclaimer. That does not mean being a total pushover, being in, crazy relationship situations where there's abuse and all sorts of things like that. What I'm saying is, in the day-to-day, not giving a shit if you win this point or not. Because the win is really in the peace in the relationship, in the peace within yourself. Okay? So that's kind of what I'm riffing on, working with right now. And I think, damn, it's nice to not be going back and forth with people. And, many of you know that I have a legal background, right? So as part of that legal background, it is, sometimes being ready to go kind of tit for tat, or being ready to make that rebuttal and say, well, anyway, so my third point on this is, and realizing that that doesn't do anything, that does not matter. So that's my relationship magic for this week. Let us mosey on over to our relationship with food. Because what we do know is that, especially if you're listening to a podcast, you're probably on the go, you're busy, you've got stuff going on, right? Well, how do we maintain our relationship with food in a positive way while we're on the go? Well, some people will say, make sure that you pack all of your food and you do all the things and that you've got everything perfectly portioned out. And that is realistic. No, probably not for a lot of people. I've done it. I do it when I'm competing. Actually, kind of in the practice of doing it a little bit right now, but that's not everybody's easiest go-to option. So the fact is that you're going to be out in the world probably eating things that were not prepared at home. And so how do you up-level that? And so one of the ways that I've kind of released the tension around that is just trying to find options that suit me, that are closest in alignment with whatever, the dietary needs are at the time. So, if I get to a restaurant and let's say, I know that I need protein, I need my vegetable, I'm probably right now going to be on a reduced carb schedule. Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to say okay, so can we not cook XYZ in the butter? Can we hold off on some of the salt on that, et cetera, et cetera. And all those things get me closer to the point of, eating in alignment with what my health goals are right now. So notice it didn't mean that I had to pack my food and I had to bring it everywhere. It just meant that the path of least resistance was still going out to eat with the people, doing what I needed to do, making some changes to the way that I ordered the food, and, not driving myself crazy in the process, because I'm still able to live a life, right? So some of you who are out in the places doing the drinking, right, at the happy hour, sometimes that's something instead of getting the cocktail that has all the sugar and all the stuff in it, if you've made a decision that you are going to be cutting back on the sugar, that you're going to be making some steps toward eating healthier. Maybe that's ordering a drink that doesn't have all that. Maybe that's, having a, seltzer and whatever, and still getting to imbibe, but doing so in a way that keeps in alignment. So those are things to think about and to consider there. So often in the world, we're always thinking about this all or nothing mentality. It's like we are on the diet, we are packing the stuff, we are doing all the things, or we're not. And that's not realistic. You don't have to be doing all the things. You need to be doing a lot of the things most of the time, and that'll make up for those gaps where you're not doing all the things. So that's super, super, super important. For me, even being somebody who's on the go all the time, I find that it's not even a freaking meals. It's not like the 6 meals a day thing that are really at issue. It could be all that stuff, all that space in between where you might be snacking and doing the stuff and doing all that. And so I found just keeping kind of worthwhile snacks around in the car, in the places, where I am, makes life easier so that I'm not tempted to go off the rail, sometimes to grab, the easiest thing, which is probably not the best thing for me. So things to consider and think about. So let us dive on to our relationship with fitness. What does our relationship with fitness look like? And how can we actually up-level that in the new year? So what I have found that has been really fun is, just taking sort of fitness with me wherever I go. And this is going to be a super realistic option for people who are like, I don't know about that. I'm not going to the gym right now. So for me, it's like parking at the far end of wherever I need to go in and sort of running into the store or fast walking or putting myself on a timer, just to add those extra steps in. If you're somebody who's just getting started and you need to get moving, there's that option. There's this option of figuring out who the hell do you know right now who has made a freaking New Year's resolution to lose weight, to become healthier, to be more toned. Who do you know? Probably a lot of people on your Facebook friend list, your IG friend list, your homies in your phone. They are, making those resolutions, or they have. And some of them have probably fallen off track by now. So it would be really ideal for you guys to reach out to each other and say, hey, do you want to be a gym buddy with me? Let's hit it. We're going to go 3 days a week. Here are the times that are conducive for the both of us. Let's do it. Having that partner, that person who's going to be there to motivate you, to help you, to push you, that you are also accountable to, goes a super long way in you being successful with your fitness journey. That's another idea. Something that I've been really enjoying, I thought I could find it around here, but it's not within my reaching space, are using bands. So one of the most worthwhile investments is to get on the Amazon and to make a purchase, less than $30, getting some bands and taking those bands, doing a glute workout, ladies, wherever you are, might be in your office, putting those bands on and getting the thing done. For the guys, you might be doing a curl, in your office, getting the curl done. You could be waiting, for the kids in the car pickup line. You could be doing your exercises. There's so many things that you can do on the go to keep things moving and to keep yourself motivated. And sometimes you're like, hell no, I don't walk. I am not going to be running on a treadmill, and I'm sure as hell not going to the gym. Well, get a freaking band and start incorporating things into your routine that become more natural. So those are my riffs, right now on all the things that we talk about on Maxing You, which is quite exciting. And I'm so excited that in the upcoming episodes, we're going to be having our guest on. We're going to be getting, not just my perspective on things as they relate to relationships, food, fitness, and, our relationship with ourselves. I'm going to be getting perspectives of other people, other experts in the field, and some of you to get on with me, and let's just have a conversation. I think these conversations are helpful and allowing us to put ourselves first. So I'm excited about it. So if you know anybody else that would be interested in listening to this podcast, go ahead and feel free to share it. There's a lot of goodness coming up in the coming weeks, and I'm excited to share it with you. So I will see you around. You can check us out at maxing_you, the letter U, on IG. And I can't wait to see you in all the places. Bye for now.